portaging canoe is a pretty straightforward process. First, make sure you've got good footing. And then instead of using your back, you want to be using your leg muscles, just like lifting any heavy object. Make a table out of your thighs, bring the canoe right up, reach for the far gunwale, and then one smooth movement, turn and bring it up on your shoulders. Wow, nice. It's real nice when you work for it. Hi, I'm John Veman. The Cherokees named this place the Land of Blue Smoke. Next on Trailside, we'll be backpacking and camping in one of the most beautiful settings in North America, the Great Smoky Mountains. Instead of showing your kids Wally's World, why not show them the real world? Hi, I'm John Veman. This is my 5-year-old daughter, Haley. You know, out here, there are no video games, no roller coasters, no ice cream cones. There's also no shortage of high-quality entertainment. Today on this special edition of Trailside, we're going to show you how to make camping a regular part of your family life. Most kids like to sleep outside, but it's a good idea to make sure before you go camping. I like to start out with a night in the tent in the backyard. You're close to home, but still experiencing the sights and sounds of the night. Now, good preparation is essential. It's important to involve the kids in the planning process as well. You have your list, hon? Mm-hmm. Okay, well, let's go. Okay, and that's where we're going to be going. To get your kids involved and excited about your trip, take some time to show them where you'll be going.
Right here?
Yeah, right to there, honey. That's where we'll be going. Pull out the maps, brochures, guidebooks. Let them help choose the destination and plan the meals. The more you get them involved from the beginning, the more likely they are to have a good experience. That goes for Mom and Dad, too. Also, for the first trip or two, keep it simple. Save the expedition stuff for when they're older and when you've had a chance to judge their capability and ambitions.
Hello, John. Welcome to Shenandoah National Park.
Hi, Mike. It's good to be here. This is Haley. She's going to go camping with us.
Hi, Haley.
And she's picked out the trail we're going to go on.
Oh, good.
She likes this White Oak Canyon trail. She says it's got 3 waterfalls. She wants to see every one of them, too.
Well, I think she'll see more than that. There's actually 6 waterfalls on the trail.
So you've got a backcountry camping permit for me?
Yes, I do.
Now, I don't have to pay for this, right?
No, they're free of charge.
Okay.
And you fill out the backcountry camping permit, and you keep the white copy and attach that to your backpack.
Okay.
And while you're hiking, and then on your tent at your campsite. And we do emphasize low-impact camping.
Right.
No campfires,
Okay.
proper food storage, which means hanging your food up at night.
Okay.
And also packing out all your trash.
Okay. Well, that's easy enough to do. We're here to meet up with the learners. Among many trips, as a family, they've climbed one of the highest mountains on the East Coast. Cliff did it while he had his 3-year-old daughter, Emily, on his back. And Claudia did it while she was 8 months pregnant with their youngest daughter, Jess. To say they've encountered just about every kind of situation you can encounter as a family while camping is a little bit of an understatement. All right, hon, let's go. When off the trail, Cliff is a high school science teacher, and Claudia is getting her master's degree in special education. Hi, guys.
Hi, John.
Hi, John.
How you doing? Hey, Andrew, I see you got your cast off your arm. How's it feel?
Feeling great.
I'll bet the soccer team's gonna be glad to have you back.
Yep.
Everybody ready?
Yep.
All right, let's go. Let's go, hon. Off we go. I think we got a waterfall up ahead.
Pretty hot outside, but it's nice under this layer of canopy.
Yeah. In this heat, we ought to be looking for a camp pretty soon, though.
I agree.
You know, with all this extra gear you bring when you're taking the whole family, we end up carrying it, so I usually don't go much farther than a mile from the car and set up a base camp and then just kind of go out for day trips after that.
Oh, yeah. Give us more time to explore with the kids.
Yeah.
Hey guys, look at the great view.
Hey, it looks great. Why don't you kids run up ahead and see there's a good place to camp?
What do you think, Cliff? You ready for camping?
Oh, I'm psyched, John. This looks
Okay.
real promising.
It's nice having that stream right nearby. You know, we don't have to carry water for 7 people. That's
Yeah,
great.
for sure.
What do you think? What do you look for in a campsite?
Well, I like it flat, certainly to pitch a tent.
Uh-huh.
Nice open air like this would be cool.
Yeah. We'll get that nice east light in the morning.
Be wonderful to wake up to.
Yeah.
Here you go. I've got the pegs. Who wants to help put them down?
Well, after you've set up camp, the next question a parent is bound to hear is, where do I go to the bathroom? And the answer is pretty straightforward. As soon as you hear that question, you want to be ready with your potty trowel and an extra plastic bag. And then you designate an area just offside of the camping area as the designated bathroom area. And the procedure is pretty simple. Just like with adults, you want to dig a little cat hole about 6 inches deep, have them do their business, then cover it back up and tamp lightly. And then just like anything else you pack into the woods, you want to pack your paper out in the plastic bag.
Hey, buddy, look what I found.
Oh, Haley, you know what this is, don't you? What is that? That's poison ivy. And how can you tell it's poison ivy?
3 leaves.
Yeah, and that's the rule? What's the rule? Leaves of 3.
Leaves of 3, let them be.
Let them be. That's right. That's right.
Okay, guys, free time. Stay within the boundaries.
Hey, how do you establish boundaries?
Well, I want them to be able to see the tent and hear me if I call them.
Uh-huh. And then at what age do you waive the rule?
Well, our son is 13, and we let him. He uses good common sense.
Yeah.
He's on his own.
So what do you think? The kids are pretty excited about seeing that waterfall. You want to go up there later?
Sounds
Take
good.
everybody up?
Sounds good.
Here we go, guys.
Watch out. Look out for the trees.
That
Whoa!
waterfall's gonna feel good, huh?
Man, I can't wait to go swimming. Hey, Jesse, nice step.
You see any trees up there, Haley?
Lots of trees.
I see you've taught Emily the whistle trick, huh?
That's right. When the kids were young, we told them what to do if they got lost. Emmy, you want to show everybody?
Sure. Come over to a tree and stand there and blow your whistle 3 times like this.
Good job. And you stay there until an adult comes.
We like to make the kids feel good about what they're doing.
Oh,
Gives
yeah.
them some added confidence for the rest of the trip.
Yeah, and that's important.
It sure is. Hey, look what we have over here. Andrew, you know what that is?
It's a blue blaze mark.
Right. We're on the White Oak Canyon Trail now, and now you see that it's marked by a single blue blaze. Okay, you know you're on the trail when you see this mark. If you come to a tree that has 2 marks on it now, you guys have to stop and wait, because that indicates that there's a fork in the trail. And wait for us to come up and we'll show you which way to go. Let's come over to this other side of the tree. When we come back down the trail, you can see that there's also a blue mark facing that way.
If you see a yellow mark, that means it's a horse trail. If you see a white mark around here, that means it's the Appalachian Trail. So that means you might be on the wrong trail. So always look for the blue marks. And if you don't see them, then stop and wait for your parents.
Guys, look at this moss and lichen on this tree over here.
Well, that's not even close to the north side of a tree, is it?
No, you know, that's one of the misconceptions a lot of people go by. They think that just because moss is on one side of the tree, it has to be facing north.
Uh-huh.
But that's not always true, and in this kind of hemlock and birch forest, it's very damp, and you'll find moss growing on all sides of the tree.
Uh-huh.
Dad,
Yeah.
what's that?
Oh, it looks like, what is this? Oh, it just crawled in.
I bet there's a whole world of life inside that decaying log.
He disappeared?
Mm-hmm.
Well, maybe we ought to leave him alone. He looks like he doesn't want to be bothered. That might be his
No,
home.
don't.
Is he still in there?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, guys, let's move on.
Come on, Haley.
The kids are having fun now, but we like to really keep an eye on them. If they act tired or start complaining, we slow down and listen to them.
Yep. Come
You
on,
all there
Haley.
running around and looking for all kinds of things you see.
Yeah. Do you guys keep a list of all the things they find?
Sure, kids like to keep a journal,
Yeah.
remind themselves what they see on each trip, and especially animal tracks. We're big on signs and even identifying scats, kind of a fun thing for the kids to do from time to time.
Yeah.
We also get them involved with maps before we go. We take out the map and show it to them. And
Yeah. We do that. We do that too. And usually Haley draws her own map. Do you have your map, Haley? Let's see. Yeah, we always, before we set out, she likes to draw where she's going.
That sounds like fun.
Yeah. Where is this?
First, you have to drive to here. Then you have to go up here and find a good place to camp.
Uh-huh.
And you set up a tent and sleep in there at night. And then the next day you go over and you go to the waterfall.
And that's the waterfall we're going to right now? That's going to be fun, isn't it?
All right, Andrew. You know, John, this is just a great reward for the kids after that hot hike this morning. It really is.
we just have to make sure they have enough energy to get back to the campsite, though.
I think they got quite a bit left. Well, just like you would take time to fasten the seatbelt in your car, there are certain precautions you should take in the outdoors to make sure your child is safe and healthy. Most injuries can be cured with a common Band-Aid. Just to make sure, you should prepare a proper first aid kit and get familiar with some basic emergency skills. Before I came out here, I got a special house call from Dr. William Forgy, an expert in wilderness medicine. This is too good to resist. Hey, Doc, the last time a doctor came this way, he was carrying a black leather bag. What's this?
Well, this is a campsite visitation bag. This has all types of things in here to make your camping trip more enjoyable.
Well, let's see what's inside.
You know, camping is a very safe activity, but there are some things you might want to be ready for.
How about some sunscreen?
Sunscreen is important. With the loss of the ozone layer, we need to protect ourselves and our children from sunburn and from damaging effects of the sun long term that might cause skin cancer later.
I noticed this is a 25 SPF. That's good enough for children?
That is excellent. Actually, 15 or better should be chosen. And pick one with a waterproof base that'll not wash off quite as easily.
Now, for bug bites and things like that, you've got DEET.
DEET's been the mainstay of insect protection for many years. We like to recommend a 30% or less for children, and choose one again with a base in it that won't allow the DEET to absorb into the skin as much as the old-fashioned remedies.
Speaking of ticks, we've got the tweezers here. This looks like
Yes, the DEET doesn't keep the tick off. Sometimes you have to remove it.
one gets on you.
If one gets on, you need to get it off. And the way you take it off is to take a fine pair of tweezers, grab that tick right where it enters the skin on either side of its mouth parts, and then lift straight up, removing it. Try not to crush the body. That might force germs into the skin.
And what about the old hot burnt match trick?
You know, the only trouble is it's so hard catching a child to use it on. You know?
That's right. I never
And
thought
you know,
of that.
we're afraid too it might explode the tick and drive germs in. So it's a method we like not to use.
Let's see. What about for poison ivy, rashes, things like that?
Kids can get into it, or maybe their pets, and of course fur might transfer the poison ivy resin to a child. If you think the child's had contact with poison ivy, you should wash them off as soon as possible. But if you see a rash developing, early in 1993, the government released hydrocortisone 1% preparations for use. These are very useful for poison ivy and
Okay, now,
itching.
you've got an ointment and a cream here. Is there a difference?
Yes, there is. The ointment's best to be used on a dry type of thing. This would be like an insect bite, and the cream for the weeping lesion of poison ivy, where it's kind of dripping.
Now what about for everyday cuts and scrapes? Anything special there?
Yes, you know, when you clean off a cut or scrape, you want to use something that has a low ouch index.
Mr. Ouch.
Mr. Ouch is like, that's a bad one for kids. And the best thing to use is probably povidone iodine. This comes both as a liquid preparation and on these handy prep pads. Now, this is not the iodine that you'd find with alcohol in it. This is very safe to use on children, and it doesn't hurt.
No Mr. Ouch.
Yes.
Okay. How about blisters?
Well, you can get into blister problems, and when you do, either from a burn or from rubbing, like on a boot on your heel, the best thing to use is one of these gel foam pads. These little gel pads, when you put them on the skin, are instantly cool, aren't they?
Yeah.
They just take that pain right away. And no matter how hard you rub, that'll absorb shear force so you won't get a further blister. This will allow it to heal, even though you're wearing the same boots that caused it, or take away the burn of like a thermal burn, like a hot fire type of burn.
You know, I think the most common injury I've encountered with children is, especially when you're fishing, is a fish hook.
That can ruin a family vacation. Let me show you a very painless way to remove a fish hook. Let me have your hand again.
Oh, wait a minute. I brought Mr. Helping Hand for this.
Oh, well, you know, a third hand is a help around the camp, isn't it?
That's
Especially in a moment like this, okay? Well, let's put this fish hook into this helping hand of yours here.
Okay.
And the nifty way of doing this is just to tie some string to that fish hook. There's no magic in this. I basically loop it around. You could tie it in any old way you want, though. And then for it to work, you push down on the shank like this and pull along the skin line. You just push down and pull like that.
Oh, that's nice.
You know, that
didn't feel a thing when you did that.
You know, I could have predicted that, because many people tell you when you yank it out, when are you going to do it? It actually can be painless. It's a very effective way of removing the hook, because it just disengages this little barb from the connective tissue, and pew, out she goes.
Nice. Well, thanks. I think we've pretty well got it.
I think you do. Have a nice trip.
Thank you. Well, the next best piece of insurance a parent can have is a trip to the local library for a good book on wilderness first aid.
All right, Jess, way to go.
Keep your hands out.
Think we're all gonna make it?
I hope so.
Out here in the woods with your family means traveling with little feet and little legs. And what's an easy step for you could be a major obstacle course for your child. Okay, hon, 1 foot up. Here you go. And chances are, that means that sometimes you're gonna end up carrying more than just your pack.
Follow me along this way, Haley. I'm going to take you to your special tree. Trust that. Okay, 1 step up, Haley. Put your hand out. Feel down this way. How does this tree smell, Haley? Is it bumpy?
Okay, Emily, we're coming up to your tree now. Here it is. Put your arms around it. Try to feel how big the tree is and see if there's anything living growing on it, like mushrooms or mosses. That's good, girl.
There are a lot of environmental games you can play with kids out here, and you're only limited by your imagination. This one is called To Know a Tree, and the idea isn't to like memorize tree names or anything like that. No, with kids you got to keep it pretty simple, so the idea is to just have fun and really appreciate nature's diversity. So everyone picks a partner, and one person is blindfolded. Then the seeing partner leads the other person to a nearby tree, and then they begin to ask questions about its natural features, such as like how big around is it? Is there a branch sticking out, or is there any moss growing on it? What's it smell like? Then when they've gathered a head full of clues, you lead them back to base, pull the blindfold, and then they go find their tree. It's really a great game and makes the kids use all their senses. Well, everybody ready to pull the blindfolds?
I think so.
Okay, go find a tree, everybody.
Okay. Have fun.
Okay.
This is really a great game, John. I'd like to be playing it myself.
Yeah.
You know, it kind of takes the expanses of the forest and brings it down to the level of the kids.
Oh, yeah,
They
it's
get
really
to appreciate nature.
I'll bet you've got a whole bag full of these kind of games.
Yeah,
huh?
we really do. We like to get the kids to have fun when we're out on camping trips, so we bring a lot of things with us, like string and magnifying glasses.
Well, what do you do with a string?
Well, the kids set up their own mini nature trail where they try to tell their own story in a 1 meter length of string on the ground.
Huh.
A lot of neat things.
Do you ever have trouble getting the kids interested in any of these games?
No problem at all. They're really into this.
I can imagine that.
Is that your tree, Jesse?
Yeah, that's my tree. Hey, Dad, look at all the blackbirds I got.
Oh, that's great, Emily. I'm glad you checked with me first before you ate them. But these do look ripe.
Can we have them for dessert?
You bet.
Hey, I'm gonna try one right now. Thanks, Emily.
Okay.
Those are good. The secret to eating well while family camping is planning ahead, keeping it simple, and somewhat predictable. Everything on your menu should be tried out at home before you head out. And that goes for your stove, too. Keep in mind that after a full day outdoors, even bland food is going to be gobbled up. And since everyone's burning plenty of calories, they're probably going to have more than their normal serving size. Cliff, I must have forgotten something, right?
Well, John, we like to get dinner started early so we can finish up and get the chores done.
That's it.
You know, before it gets too dark. We also like to keep in mind that the kids are losing lots of water on a hot day like today, so we keep a lot of this juice mix around.
Well, that's a neat idea. You put orange juice mix in there, and it gets it nice and sweet.
That's what the kids need.
Yeah. Well, what about meal planning, Claudia? How do you get them involved in that?
The kids do help with the meal planning, John. In fact, they help me make this trail mix.
Oh.
And then we go to the supermarket and pick out the foods we like. A lot of this can be bought at the regular supermarket, like the macaroni and cheese.
Mac and cheese.
Parmesan cheese. The soup mixes, the kids pick the flavors they like.
Oh, yeah.
And then we have the sun-dried foods, like these tomatoes, and freeze-dried foods. And this is air-dried. This is a one-pot dish that we like. Has rice.
No, everything you need is in that bag right there for a meal. You just have to rehydrate it for a while in water.
Exactly.
And then just heat it up. It's ready to eat. Enough for what, 2 people in there?
This is enough for 2 people. Do a lot of carbohydrates, a lot of pasta, a lot of rice.
What's cooking over here?
We've got a Oriental soup mix going here. And Andrew's making a tortellini dish.
Oh, looks good. You guys don't suffer out here, do you?
Not at all. Of course, when all else fails, we've got some peanut butter here.
The old standby, PB&J. Now, what about dessert? We've got kids out here. We better be planning something for after dinner.
Well, for dessert, the first couple of nights we have fresh fruit. And then later on we have freeze-dried ice cream.
Oh, I like that. I might even try some of that myself.
I think after a vigorous hike like we had today, it'd be good to give the kids some of the fresh peaches, don't you think?
They'd like that.
Oh, why wait for dessert?
All right.
Organic waste, like this peach pit, while biodegradable, can attract wildlife to an area. And in heavily used areas, creates a visual eyesore. For instance, an orange peel can take up to 6 months to biodegrade out here. So bring along a plastic trash bag and pack out all your waste. When you're ready for cleanup, just like with your bathroom area, you want to pick an area for cleaning your dishes that's at least 200 feet away from any water source. And bring your water to the dishes, not your dishes to the water. Use biodegradable soap and sprinkle a little dirt or sand in your dishwater to help scour out the pans.
That's how we just did our dishes.
Oh, good for you guys.
And it sounds like Andrew found a tree to hang the food on up ahead.
All right. Hey, how do you involve the kids in cleanup time?
Give the kids as many jobs as possible. Andrew's really good with the dishes and pots.
And the girls pick up around the campsite.
Oh, good.
Since bears are so common in the Shenandoahs, we've got to get this food off the ground away from the campsite.
Right.
And we explained the 10-10-10 rule to the kids. That means we get this bag 10 feet from the main trunk of a tree,
Right.
10 feet off the ground, and 10 feet down from the branch that it's hanging from.
Well, that's a great way for them to remember it.
Yeah, and Andrew's ready to give it a rip now, I think, so go for it, buddy.
All right, Andrew.
Good toss. You know, once we were camping in the Rockies, and we cooked up a chicken dinner, and before we were even done eating, the bears were at a campsite waiting for some leftovers. It's
Yeah?
amazing, their sense of smell.
Oh, yeah. Did you ever have any food that night?
We sure did.
All right, Andrew, take her up.
Mom, what does Shenandoah mean?
Well, according to Native Americans, it means daughter of the stars. Hey guys, I have an idea. Let's lay our head back and look up at the stars and see what pictures we see. I see a butterfly.
See Elmer Fudd.
I think I see a dragonfly.
I see a beaver. I see a Chinese dragon.
A Chinese dragon? Where do you see that one?
I'm gonna tell you. Have some to eat.
Well, for a child, the dark can be a mysterious and sometimes frightening experience. The best way to help your child overcome those fears is to create activities that highlight the darkness, such as stargazing and storytelling that includes the moon and the sun. But leave the ghost stories at home. You know what I see up there?
No.
S'mores. Yeah. You know, when you go camping with your family, your kids leave home with a guarantee that they'll have your undivided attention. And that's one more thing that they can't get in an amusement park. Ready to go, hon? See you next time on another Trailside.
Come on, Jesse.
Good girl, Jess. Here we go, guys.
Watch out, look out for the trees. Whoa!
Waterfall's gonna feel good, huh?
I can't wait to go swimming. Hey, Jesse, nice step.
You see any trees up there, Haley?
I think we're almost
Good
there.
mom.
Whoa!
What's that?
Oh, it looks like, what is this? Oh, it just crawled in.
I bet there's a whole world of life inside that decaying log.
Disappear? Well, maybe we ought to leave him alone. He looks like he doesn't want to be bothered. That might be his home.
Don't.
Is he still in there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, guys, let's move on.
Don't.
Come on, Haley.
Is that your special tray?
Funding for Trailside is made possible in part by Chevy Trucks, who reminds you that it's possible to have fun outdoors and still leave Mother Nature with a smile on her face, too. And LL Bean, providing sporting gear and apparel for people who love the outdoors for over 80 years. And High Tech Sports, who invite you to enjoy the great outdoors and follow the trail to adventure.
Guys, we're about ready to come in and block this thing out and do it.
Wouldn't mind doing one more.
You wouldn't mind doing another one? Do the wild sound right now.
Do this wild track right here and
Rolling. You want me to be walking?
52, take 2.
All speed. Quiet, please. And action.
There, all the way down to here. That's where we're going to be going, okay? To get your kids involved and excited, take some time to show them where you'll be going. Where are you going?
And action.
No roller coasters, no ice cream cones, no video games out here. Yet, you know, there's not an amusement park around.
Give up.
Got.
Today on this special edition of Trailside, we're going to show you how to make camping a regular part of your family life. What are you doing, honey? Come on. Down right here.
Dad, wait.
No.
Wait, Daddy. No.
All right.
First, it's all white. See?
Yeah.
Close your eyes.
Okay, they're closed. Now, what's the map look like?
Wait.
Let's
You
flip
have
it
to
out.
close
Okay, where are we?
No, Dad, you have to close them. Close them, Daddy.
They're closed.
Cut.
Well, I'm guilty of self-indulgence on this one, but the highlight of this season for me had to be this show. With a rigorous travel schedule to do 13 different shows from Trailside this season, it was a real treat to have my daughter Haley along for a week. Every time we go out in the woods, Haley and I learn something. She teaches me by observing a lot of things I tend to overlook. You know, the patterns in a pile of rocks, the way the air smells different after a lightning strike, or just how good marshmallows, chocolate, and graham crackers taste outside your tent. And to think she tells her friends that her dad knows it all.
Okay. You may even, this is a good point to reference, you wouldn't be able to hear them here because we're walking next to the stream that goes to the waterfall, but in other areas you may be able to hear.
But they can see things like scatter.
Right. You know,
marks.
trail prints, footprints, things like that. Okay?
Yeah, you know what it feels like. Kids really aren't meant for being on the other side of the television set. If you're a parent, you know how quickly even well-behaved kids can lose interest. Interest means cooperation.
And action. Put your thing on it. Oh, hang on, type back out again. As soon as the marshmallow comes in, you put that top on it and pull it off. Squish it down and take it up and bite it. Okay.
Want the marshmallow closer to the tip so it comes off easier?
Okay. We ready? Sweet. And action. Oh, hold on.
Well, during this episode, we hit a rare heat spell in Virginia. Actually, it blanketed the entire mid-Atlantic. Temperatures were well into the hundreds, so this seriously compromised the cooperation potential that was there. Still, trees were hugged on cue and dragons evolved into the star formations late at night.
We're almost there. I think one more and we have it. Okay? I think one more and we have it.
I like to start out with a night in the tent in the backyard. You're close to home, but still experiencing the sights and sounds of the night. And good preparation is essential. It's a good idea to involve the kids in the planning process. Wow! Nice. It's real nice when you work for it. There are a few things I like to keep in mind when I'm crossing any kind of stream. First, if you're wearing a pack, unbuckle the straps. That way, if perchance you do fall in, you can get free of your pack as soon as possible and get over to shore. You can always retrieve your pack later on downstream. Secondly, keep your boots on. You're going to have much more secure footing with them on than off. And I'd much rather have wet feet than a twisted ankle any day. Third, plan your route. Just like in a good game of chess, you want to think a few moves ahead. And if you see wet rock above the water, you might want to avoid it because it's probably covered with lichen or moss, and that can be treacherous stuff. Finally, when you're dealing with current, think slow and wide instead of fast and narrow. Because where the river comes together all at once, that's where the fastest current is, and that's where you're likely to lose your footing.
Most of the time when I'm making shots at this time of day, I just get like wild and crazy with the energy of the light. You know, a lot of times I just forget to sit down and enjoy the moment. You know, maybe we should just do that this time.
Hey, I'm always
We're going to get
up
a
for that.
great sunrise tomorrow. I can feel it in my bones.
But you know, I'm kind of feeling like I ought to bring the camera out for this, just in case.
That's cheating, isn't it?
Yeah, well,
Oh, if you're going to do it, I'm going to do it too then.
I won't forget. This tree looks pretty interesting right up here.
Yeah, the sun's just about gone. You know, most people, as soon as the sun would go behind that cloud, they'd say, well, that's it, let's just go home. You know, let's go back to the campsite. But I'll bet if we wait here maybe 20, 25 minutes, you know, the light will just paint all the bottom of these clouds with some beautiful colors.
Oh, yeah.
It's worth the wait.
A couple things that you might want to consider as you're going down here are your brakes. Your front brake has 70% of your stopping power. Your rear brake has the rest. You want to be really careful not to use too much front brake or you'll lock up the front wheel and that can lead to certain disaster. So you want to use your brakes together a little bit.
And feather them or pump them a little bit?
Yeah, a little bit. I think, you know, you kind of have to develop a feel for it as you go down, particularly with this much weight in the back. But yeah, you want to feather them a little bit and you don't want to skid. We have a saying down here, skids are for squids. And, you know, if you skid, you're just out of control and it's not a really good thing to do.
Got a lot of nice features here. We've got a nice comfortable log here for a place to sit and have dinner. Good flat spot here. We got trees right up here for hanging our food, keep it away from the bears and other critters.
Get these rocks out of the way.
This This looks pretty good. Now, Al's laying down not because he's tired from a long day, but while we're coming in looking for a tent site, we took off our packs so that we're not getting impatient because we want to get the weight off our shoulders. You know, walk around, pick the best site. Then actually go lay down on the ground and see if that's how you want to orient your tent in terms of the pitch of the land. You obviously want your head on the high side so that your blood's not rushing to your head in the middle of the night. I'll tell you what, I'm kind of sweated up on that layer right next to my skin, so I'm gonna
pretty nippy.
Do a clothes change here.
You know, one of the mistakes a lot of novices make is they'll just put an additional layer on top when they're cold like that. It's always a good idea to strip that stuff off.
Yeah, putting dry clothes on top of wet is not the best idea, is it?
No, exactly. Otherwise, you know, if you keep doing that, at the end of a trip, you're just going to wind up with a sack full of wet clothes.
Oregon Cave gives you a chance to try out just about every kind of caving technique. When the walls come together, you can try some chimneying. And there's plenty of low ceilings. You got lots of times you got to crawl. And sometimes you even have to make it up. But the best way to get through it is to pace yourself, plan your moves, and try not to move too fast. You know, parts of it are muddy, so resign yourself to that. Gloves, knee pads, and a heavy nylon caving suit help a lot. The suit offers a lot of protection when you get into the rocky parts, and there's no outer pockets to catch on anything. And every now and then, you just have to have a leap of faith. I'm John Veman, soaking up the sounds of winter in Glacier National Park, Montana. Join me for a winter camping odyssey on snowshoes and make your own adventure on Trailside.